Hi everybody. Today's video is a litter update for the 6 mini Australian Labradoodle puppies from our Firefly litter. Hi, I'm Claire from Isle Labradoodles, and in today's video we are going to go through each of the Australian Labradoodle puppies in this litter. We'll tell you what their current birth weights are. We'll take a good look and see if any eyes have opened yet, and we'll give you a little bit of an update on Mama Labradoodle Penny as well. So these 6 little Australian Labradoodle puppies are all thriving. When we get to their weights, you'll see that these are a litter of really juicy puppies. Everybody, you can see as they're all lined up nicely right now, having just finished nursing. You can see everybody has a nice broad expanse of their tummy there. They're all really gaining weight very nicely. Really pleased with how everything's going. Penny herself, well, she's a great Mama Labradoodle. Penny is a very quiet and calm girl. She's almost, you would forget she was around. She's so quiet. The only time we hear from Penny is when we have people that come to the door. If somebody's making a delivery, or as I've mentioned before, we're having our kitchen renovated. So if one of the workers happens to be coming in and out, then she's right away at the door barking, growling, and making sure that her little family's all safely protected. Penny was not feeling too well yesterday, and we're not sure exactly what happened, if she found something outside that disagreed with her or what was going on. But she threw up a couple of times. She was still bright, happy, tail wagging, no temperature, no tacky gums, nothing to be concerned about at all. She just was a little off for whatever reason. She got over it very quickly though, and then last night when she was down watching TV with us, she ate about a day and a half's worth of her Stella and Chewy's freeze-dried food, and so she certainly made up for any of the food that she lost earlier in the day. Penny continues to gain weight, which is really nice. We really like that when our girls, when they're lactating, that they're not losing weight. She's filling in really well. She's got really nice, good body condition now. And you can see, as I've mentioned a few times, her hair is in great shape. Nice, full and shiny coat. And you can see that on each of these little puppies as well. They all have quite shiny coats. And while they're all lined up here, you can see the difference in the chocolate colors. So you can see here that Mr. Green Collar, he has the darkest chocolate out of everybody. Mr. Purple Collar, he also is quite dark. And then you can't see anymore because Penny just moved her head, but Dark Blue Collar is also quite dark. Orange Collar and light blue and silver are all a slightly lighter shade of chocolate. And one thing about the chocolate color in Australian Labradoodles is chocolate tends to what we call silver. And what that means is the dogs do actually get silver hairs coming into their coat. And sometimes those hairs have a slightly different texture, but what that serves to do when you get the silvering is that it will lighten up the brown color to some extent. You can never tell for sure ahead of time if a coat is going to lighten a great deal or just a little bit, so it's always a bit of a wait and see sort of thing. But all chocolates do generally tend to lighten up as time goes by. Now you can also see right here is a good example between Purple Collar and Orange Collar, the difference in the type of coat. So you can see Orange Collar has a very straight coat, and it's a very lovely, soft, silky coat right now. It will lift and become full soon enough. And Purple has more wave to it. So Purple's going to have some curls in his coat and a really nice soft wave in it. Everybody has a fleece coat, everybody's non-shedding, but you can see there's quite a variety, and the little bits of curls, that's thanks to Grandpa Copper. That's Penny's dad. And you can see Penny's coat is beautiful, lovely, wavy coat, and that's more like what we're going to see here. So the litter itself, they have progressed quite a bit in the last week in terms of Penny being quite happy to leave them alone for longer periods of time now. So now she is wanting to spend a good amount of her time out of the box. She's still fairly close by, Normally we have a door right in front of the whelping box, and that's mostly so our girls don't see anything that's going on out there, just to give them more security and not be upset if they can see our dogs or if they can see people going back and forth. But Penny has told us by barking that she wants that door open. She does want to be able to see what's going on, and that's totally fine. We designed this whole maternity ward so we can adapt it to each individual girl's preferences, because whatever we do, we want the girl to be happy, content, and making sure that that all transmits through to the puppies, because the last thing we want is for a stressed mom, because you know the stress goes right through to the milk, goes right into the puppies, and you can really see a difference in puppies if you have a mom who's in a setting that makes her unhappy or she's agitated all the time. So we make sure that Mama Penny is always happy. She enjoys the little bit of special spoiling that she gets. And she, as I said, she also is enjoying being actually outside of the maternity ward now. So she will come down in the evenings and watch TV with us, and she's now happy to stay with us for about a good 45 minutes. Then she'll come back up. She won't ask to come back into the babies, but she wants to be just outside of the door, so she's still sort of guarding all of her puppies. That way she feels comfort and safety, that she's within the immediate vicinity should any danger present itself, but she also gets a break. And I tell you, every new mom needs a break, right, Penny? Which otherwise she's doing really well. Penny started to eat really nicely again last week. She had a period of time, as all Mama Labradoodles do, where she was, I don't really want to eat. And when they don't want to eat, of course, they have to still eat, because without eating, they themselves are going to get sick, because their bodies are still going to make milk for the puppies, but it's going to take all of the nutrition it needs out of mom's body. So that's not a situation we want. So when they do that, we come in and we feed them by opening their mouths just like this, and then we plop the food right in the back of their mouths, and then we just gently put our hand over their mouths so they can't spit it out at us, as they do like to do sometimes, and then that way the food is consumed. But now we're back to Penny being very happy to eat the food right out of my hand. She still isn't eating out of the dish on her own, and she still will not eat outside of the box, but that's all typical mom behavior. So I would expect, once the puppies have their eyes and ears open, and they're starting to go to the bathroom on their own, that's usually the time that our moms decide, okay, now I'm going to go back into the doodle den and eat with everyone else. And you can see Penny's pawing me, because she says, oh yeah, this is great. I'm getting my stomach rubbed, I'm getting my ears rubbed, so I'll just keep pawing Mom, because I don't want her to pay attention to the puppies, just me. Which is really nice to see. She's a very affectionate girl, really nice little temperament. So now let's go through each of the puppies here. And one of the things that has happened this week with the puppies is they are starting to pee on their own. Now you can see Penny's still doing a cleanup there on Mr. Blue Collar, because he did just poop on his own. And I'm going to just use her towel here that needs to be changed anyways to help her clean him up. And it's a lovely messy bum that he's got there, but she'll take care of that and get that all cleaned up. So they are starting to poop on their own, and they are peeing on their own. So that's a really good sign for Penny to know that she can leave the puppies alone, because they're starting to become a little bit more independent. Not everybody has their eyes open. We'll take a look now and we'll see who does and doesn't have their eyes open. And of course, nobody has their ears open yet. That takes about another week. So our next video for this litter may not be done here in the whelping box. We may have moved Penny out into the doodle den. Once the puppies can hear and see and they're moving around really well, then that's when we move them into a bigger space and let Mom have a little bit less time and confinement with the puppies. And also they are able to regulate their body temperature on their own much more readily now as well. And that's an important thing that has to happen before we move them. Because in the doodle den, it's a bigger space, and so generally the temperature in there is around 21 degrees. Right now in this room, I have adjusted the temperature yesterday down to 22 degrees. And so it doesn't sound like a lot to change it by 1 degree, but when they're not ready, when you adjust it, you'll see they'll all start to huddle together to keep each other warm, whereas if it's too warm, they all spread out. So if they're all sleeping together, as they will do, but not all huddled on top of each other, then I know we've got the temperature warm enough, and I can go ahead and see if I can reduce it a bit. Because we don't want Penny to be too hot, because then again, she's uncomfortable. She doesn't want to stay and hang out with the puppies, and then we get puppies who are crying and saying, "Hey mom, where are you?" Because it's not just the milk bar that Penny provides. She's also providing all sorts of love, comfort, and care of her puppies, and teaching them things just by being in here with them. So now let's go through the puppies, and we're going to start with Orange Collar here, our little mountain climber. Orange Collar is our firstborn boy, and if you'll take a look, if he'll be cooperative, he does have both of his eyes open. We'll see if he's going to show you his eyes. They just opened yesterday fully, so they still don't open all the ways. And now you'll notice that each of these little Labradoodles has blue eyes. They won't stay blue, they're just all born blue. So their eyes will change color, and because they're all chocolates, they're all going to end up with really nice dark brown eyes. My favorite. So Mr. Orange Collar is almost a kilogram already. He is 992 grams. Oh, and there I can see his eyes. He's giving you a little peek at them with his cute little white goatee there. And he's talking away saying, "You know, I could do with a bit more food, Mom. Do you think I could come back and find another spot at the milk bar?" So we'll put him back down and see if he can find himself a good place there, and let Penny look after him. Next is Dark Blue Collar Boy. He's the one who is pooping. I'm just going to use a towel to hold him because he still has a bit of a wet bum in the back there. And if I can avoid it, I prefer not to get poop all over me. There, come here, you mister. There you go, Mr. Poopy Bum. Mr. Poopy Bum. And here is our beautiful, handsome Dark Blue Collar Boy. This guy's got the cutest little face, and you'll see his eyes are not as open as Orange. He's trying. If you watch, you can see there's little slits right next to his nose, and those are opening a bit, and he is doing all sorts of reflexive movement, which is what they do when their eyes are about to open. So I would suspect probably by the end of today, and if not by the end of today, for sure tomorrow, we will have Dark Blue Collar's eyes open. And Dark Blue is 802 grams. So also doing very well and getting close to that 1 kilogram mark. Dark Blue is a very quiet fellow. Mr. Orange is still our communicator. He's still the one who's always got something to say. He's doing, oh no, that's actually Purple, I think, who's talking right now. Purple also is getting his bum washed. Purple also can be quite the talker. Next we have Green Collar Boy, who's over here. He's obviously had enough to eat. Hello, Mr. Green. And let's take a look at your eyes today. Oh, Mr. Green says, "No, I don't really want to see the world. I've heard that there's all sorts of bad things in the world going on, COVID and Omicron and what have you." So he's going to keep his eyes closed for a bit. So I would say by Sunday, everybody will have their eyes open. But for right now, no, we're not going to quite open them. And Mr. Green Collar is, oops, I just got to move my blanket here. Mr. Green Collar is 840 grams. Now you just saw that I moved him, and I can do this with him, and we get no response from him. And that's because every day we do things like this with the puppies. So we do them upside down like this. We do them upright. We put them upside down like that. We do all sorts of things up and down, all around. We kiss their little noses. We cuddle them up. We give them a little bounce. All sorts of things just to get them accustomed to lots of handling and movement. So that's Mr. Green Collar. Oh, you want to take a look at him, Penny? Sorry. I know, you got to check them all after I have them, just in case I do something bad. Next is our only little girl in the litter, Miss Silver Collar. And she is somewhere in here. Here she is, underneath her brother. Come here, baby. Are you still nursing? Oh, she's gonna be mad at me. Hi, sweetie. Hi. And of course you hear me talking. I'm always talking to them, even though they can't hear me. Miss Silver Collar, her eyes are half open there. I'm not sure if you can see them on the video, but they're halfway there. So these eyes will be fully open by the end of the day today. If we'd done the video at the end of the day rather than first thing in the morning, I think you would see her eyes out of the way and she would show them off. So Silver Collar Girl is 730 grams. So she's just doing really nicely too. She is the second smallest puppy in the litter, but she is definitely not thin. She's a nice chunky little monkey there, and she's got a nice straight coat. So you can see how her coat is a little smoother. There we go, Miss Silver. Oh my goodness, Penny, you're giving everybody quite the good work over. Next is Purple Collar Boy. Purple Collar Boy's way over here. Come here, handsome. Here we go. And Mr. Purple Collar says, no, I am not ready to look at the world either. On his left eye, I can see the slit, his right eye a little bit as well. So I would say tomorrow, this little handsome boy will have his eyes open as well. Now this little guy, he is 861 grams. Really a nice chunky puppy. So this is the kind of build that we'd look for in an Australian Labradoodle. A nice sort of square body there, a blocky head, and a nice lab type of body shape. Not the poodle shape that's a lot thinner and lighter framed, but this nice sturdy heavy little frame going on. That's the kind of thing we look for. And oh my goodness, Penny says that she just absolutely has to clean Mr. Purple. And Mr. Purple is one of the phantoms in this litter. He and Light Blue Collar Boy are both phantoms. And that's those tan markings you see on the side of his face. If you get to see his legs, they are halfway up his legs there. His legs are getting a little wet from all of that bathing. And of course across his chest too. This little guy, he has a really nice stop. And a stop is right here where their nose meets the top of their head. So it's a nice strong defined shape, which is what another thing we look for that is part of the breed standard for an Australian Labradoodle. And then he's got that nice square blocky head, and he's got a pretty nice ear set where it's pretty high. Now I don't really want you to kiss me after you kissed his bum, thanks. We could skip on that one, okay? You can kiss me later. So this little guy, he and Orange are the movers and shakers in the litter. They're the ones who do everything first. They're the ones who tell us if they're annoyed that Penny's not doing something according to them that she should be doing. And Purple Collar Girl Purple Collar Boy rather, he was the first one to be up on his all fours and moving around. So the puppies are starting to walk and move around quite a bit now. So you can hear he's talking there, having a conversation about having been moved. And last in the litter is Light Blue Collar Boy. And Light Blue Collar Boy is the smallest. He's 709 grams. Now don't be fooled by what their weights are right now. Just because he's 709 grams now and Orange is almost a kilogram doesn't mean that this puppy will not end up being larger than Orange at the end of the day. This is just where they're at right now. This guy is also a phantom, so you can, oh sorry Penny, did you want to go out? Okay, Penny says that's enough of that. Do you want to go out, honey? Do I need to move for you? There you go, good girl. Okay, there we go. So you can see his phantom markings here, same thing, tan halfway up his legs, tan on the side of his face here, and then he'll have tan above his eyebrows, and you can see under his bum he has some tan as well. So that is the typical phantom markings, and on his chest his markings are nowhere near as strong as they are in Purple Collars. Now the reason for this is because sometimes you just don't have everything coming through as strong because of how the genes are. So what I suspect is this puppy is what we call ATA rather than ATAT, which just means the phantom is not as expressed on the body. However, the puppy can produce phantoms just as well as an ATAT dog can. So that's kind of some breeder lingo there. Doesn't matter to people who are looking for a pet Labradoodle, but if you're a breeder and you're wondering how color works and why some phantoms are more defined in terms of their tan points than others, that's the reason why there's these 4 gates that you need to be open for phantom, which is AT or A, and then KY. So you need KY, KY. And if you have a nice, beautifully marked phantom, you'll have ATAT. But if you have an ATA, then you have a phantom light blue, who's still a phantom, just not as strongly marked. But otherwise, genetically speaking, they can still produce phantoms with the right girl just as readily. See, there, you want to cuddle up with me now? So I think Penny just wanted to make sure she could be separated from the puppies, but still close enough to get some kisses and love from me. So you'll see that I'm sitting on this different pad here, rather than it just being the normal whelping box carpet. And that's because the puppies are starting to pee on their own. So these are easy for us to pick up, throw in the washing machine and replace, whereas changing the carpet out you have to take all the puppies out and put all the puppies back. So this is just an easier way to keep them clean and nice and dry and not full of pee as much. So that's everything for the litter this week. If you're one of the families on this list, we'll be sending you a video link for this week's educational portion. And I do want to just urge all of our families to be sure you are lining up your trainer now. Because even though your puppies aren't going home till February 26th, you need to be starting a socialization class pretty much right away after you get your puppies home. So you want to be sure you have your puppies enrolled in socialization on or before March the 7th. Now, if you live on Vancouver Island, you can do that with Taylor, who has her company Positive Results, and Taylor also works for us at Isle Doodles as well. So she will have socialization and learning classes, but the socialization is the most important one. Puppies are surrendered to shelters, returned to breeders 9 times out of 10 because of a behavioral problem. And behavioral problems tend to come from a lack of socialization. And when we talk about socialization, there's masses and masses of information about it. You can't help but run into it on the internet. Anything to do with dogs, you'll see all sorts of info on socialization. And you'll see in lots of write-ups and books, things that suggest, oh, your puppy should be exposed to 100 people or 100 different situations in the first 100 days. Well, that's nice and that's all well and good, but that's not what socialization is. What socialization is making your puppy make the connection between a new activity, a new person, and something good. So to do that, you take your puppy and let's say they meet somebody. Let's say it's a tall man with a beard and a hat, because those types of people are often a little bit worrisome for dogs. So what you do is you just don't take your puppy and go, here's a tall man with a beard and a hat, now you're socialized. What you do is you stand at a distance away from where that man with the hat and the beard is with your puppy, where your puppy's comfortable, and you give them a treat. And that way they start to associate in their mind, tall man, beard, hat, treat. And a treat, food, is something that puppies find to be good. All dogs do. So do I. Then as time goes on, you move your puppy closer and closer to the tall man with the beard and the hat, continually offering them treats so that you build that connection and that understanding with your puppy over and over and over until it becomes ingrained in their minds, tall man, beard, hat, good thing, because it means it's followed by food. So that's what socialization is. It's very important to understand the difference. It must be a positive association between the new activity and some sort of a reward, not just taking your puppy out to a new activity. So just because you go to Winners or Canadian Tire and take your puppy, that is not socialization. That's great exposure, and that is something you want to do. But to actually be socialization and teaching your puppy not to be afraid of new things, they need to learn to associate it with something positive, which at this age is a food treat. As they get older, you're not going to do that all the time. First of all, they'll already have learned that it's okay, the world is not all that scary, but they also will begin to respond to just being told how good they are. And you don't have to give them masses of treats. What you want to find is a high value treat and one that's easy to break into very small bits, because you're going to be doing this a lot. So yes, lots of new situations and new people for your puppy, but not just willy-nilly with no association. It's critical that they associate those experiences with something that they really like and enjoy. That's how you socialize a dog. Right, Penny? Yeah, you're all socialized. So Penny, for instance, is petrified of vacuums. She absolutely hates the vacuum. She goes nuts when she sees it. And that's because when she first was introduced to a vacuum or exposed to a vacuum, there was nothing that gave her any reward or positive experience. So she has no reason to associate it with anything other than, I don't like this thing, I don't know it, it's not something I see regularly, and it makes a weird noise. So when we introduce the puppies to a vacuum, if we're doing that in Head Start for some reason, then we introduce the vacuum, then we give them a treat. So that's what socialization is. And we start training them right from now, even though they're, can't see or hear, that people are associated with something positive. So whenever they're interacting with us, well, all we can do right now is give them a tactile sensation that's positive. So we stroke them, we pet them, we do something nice with them. So in their brain, smell is all they have. So scent of person equals something that feels good. And until they're old enough to start eating treats, that's the only thing that we can do to continue to build that positive bond with the puppies. And you can see Mr. Orange Collar here. If you follow us on Facebook, you'll have seen him displaying his upside down behavior in a post I made recently. And if you check it out, he has his tongue sticking out yet again. He loves to stick his tongue out, and he loves to be upside down. I figure he's upside down because his belly is so big he can't possibly lie right side up. Right, Benny? So that's our video for today. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about socialization, Labradoodles, nutrition, anything whatsoever, if you're a new breeder and you have some questions, if you're looking forward to your first litter or you have some puppies and wondering how to do things, please just ask in the comments below. I'm more than happy to help you out and answer your questions, and there's nothing more fun than talking about Labradoodles and Labradoodle puppies. So give us a thumbs up if you liked our video today, and we will see you all again in a week when everyone's going to have their eyes open, and maybe we'll even have some ears open. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, Penny. Was that all for the kisses today, hey?